Hey everybody, how you doing? The Baltimore Ravens earlier today announced they put a non-exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson. Non-exclusive. That means that he can go and try and get a deal with any other NFL team. His franchise tag is valued at 32 million, which means someone is going to have to offer over that and some draft picks to get him. It's an expensive, expensive call. Now, the Falcons, the Washington Commanders, the Carolina Panthers, and the Miami Dolphins, among those teams, among a number of teams, have directly announced they have no interest in signing Lamar Jackson. Hey, Buck Skulls, hi gang, how you doing? They have no interest in signing him. Look, as many of you know, the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business, and teams don't put a quarterback like Lamar Jackson in that position without having done their homework first. Okay? I believe the reason why the Ravens took the actions because they believe there was, in point of fact, really no market, no real market for Lamar Jackson for two reasons. A, he doesn't have an agent, and I'll get to that in a second. B, Lamar has an expensive asking price. C, it would cost the Ravens, or excuse me, it would cost the team that wants him from the Ravens to give up something on top of that price because Lamar is not at the point where he has been placed in a position where they've cut him. He is very much under the stewardship of the Baltimore Ravens. But the other problem I think not talked about in this is that Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have an agent. He has his mom. Hey, not criticizing the moms. Certainly not. Hey, I'm here with my helping her, right? And this just helps me too. But the bottom line is if you have an agent, your agent is out there either on the phone or text or email or visiting and trying to get a better deal for the client when such deadlines as this 4 o'clock deadline today pop up. Okay. So a very good, a very good agent would have created a market for Lamar. Right now, Lamar Jackson has no market. Okay? He has no market. Now, I think he's valuable to go for, and so do you. But the reality is, when you have not less than 5 teams coming out publicly and saying they're not in the market for him, there's a reason for that. I think it may also be some concern for just how the Deshaun Watson deal has just so powerfully overinflated quarterbacks. I mean, you're going to tell me you think Daniel Jones is actually worth $40 million a year? Okay, that's what he got. $40 million a year. Daniel Jones hasn't won the Super Bowl. It is a lot like Derek Carr in how he's ascended. Okay, Derek received a $125 million, I believe, 5-year contract from the Raiders 6 years ago, and 5 years ago, and now he's just landed a 4-year, $160 million deal. Excuse me, $150 million deal, not 160, $150 million deal from the Saints with a 2-year out clause. Okay, but that means he's making more per year than the Saints ever paid their best quarterback, Drew Brees. I don't believe, and I'm happy to be wrong because Derek Carr is a great Christian man. I'll just put that on the table. I've said it before, I'll say it again. But I do not believe Derek Carr is worth that. And I don't believe he's going to play up to that. Okay. For a number of reasons. Some of them were presented on the NFL Network today when they're replaying the Raiders Seahawks game. And you know what happened with that? When the Carr dropped back to third, I believe it was on 3rd and 8 from the Seahawks 8. He looked, his primary wasn't open. It was a short drop. He looked again, then turned again before throwing to get for the touchdown. But Carr sat back and waited patiently while his offensive line held out the defenders from getting to him at close range. I have never seen the Saints do that. The Saints have a different offensive line style blocking. They don't have plays like that. In the Saints offense, if Carr thought he could do that, he would get creamed. Creamed. So it's going to be an interesting and I think unfortunately difficult first year out for Derek. I don't think it's going to be all sunshine and roses in terms of his on the field performance. And as I've said before, there are a lot of factors that he has to adjust to. Moving from one city to the other, going to an unfamiliar place, going to new fans, new teammates, new locker room, how his kids are going to respond to the situation, which is the biggest deal of all, and his wife was the even bigger deal. Okay. That's a complicated road to hoe for him as a family man. And, you know, Jameis Winston's done it, but in Jameis Winston's case, he was able to stay within the South when he went from the Bucks to the Saints, right? So he didn't move far away at all. But Derek Carr is making a major leap in terms of where he's come from in California, where he's going in the South. Lamar Jackson, getting back to him, is not in that situation. The Ravens want him. They want to pay for him. But he believes he's worth more than $32 million. And I think he is too. I think he's worth as much as Daniel Jones is getting at $40 million. But if Lamar is going to realize that those kind of numbers, he's got to get an agent. You can't say it's a race issue now because this is the year of the black quarterback. We've had 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. Okay. For the first time in NFL history, and I'm going to talk about this in another video, the elite quarterbacks are mostly black. The majority of highly ranked quarterbacks by far are black. That has never been seen before in the NFL's history. Deshaun Watson set the ceiling, the new ceiling, which I think caused a lot of problems for teams, when the Cleveland Browns signed him for $236 million guaranteed. Guaranteed. Okay? All of it. That changed everything. And he's African American. So these are great days for the future of ethnicity, because we're all one race, the human race, right? And I want to get down and talking about that. But it is a factor, you know it, and I do. All right. So anyway, Lamar will stay with the Ravens. They boxed him in. They don't want to give him up. They prearranged it. On the other hand, Lamar does not have an agent like Lee Steinberg to really, pave the way for him and make sure that there is a market for him. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnowblog.com. I'll see you. And please subscribe if you haven't before. I really appreciate it.